Welcome back everybody to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it, guys. So before we get started, what do we got next week? Well, we have big earnings ahead right here, guys. We have AMD, Microsoft, PayPal, BP, Meta, Boeing, Amazon, Apple, Intel, Coinbase. You got ExxonMobil, Chevron. And these earnings can actually cause lots of volatility here in this market. And if you think this is enough, well, no. We do have FOMC on Wednesday, and I think that's going to cause this market to go ballistic this week. I mean, we could see a big move on either direction this week, and that is money-making opportunity for us. So before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you guys supporting, liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. And we're actually nearing 10,000 subscribers. And I know this month is ending, and the beginning of next month, let's try to get to 10,000 subscribers. And if this video can actually get at least 200 likes, we're getting actually over 100, almost 150. So I think we can get up to 200 easily on this one. Let's try to do that. And again, I do appreciate all your support, guys. Now, here on Nflx, what's happening? Down 4.3%. And this thing again holding 630. So that's going to be your line in the sand to watch going into Monday's session. Below 630, 623, 624, and then 618 all the way down here. Lower Bollinger Band all the way down to 604. But as long as this thing can hold right here at 630, watch out for a bounce. And now there will be resistance at 5-day moving average 638.34, and over that level, just like we saw Friday, this thing can move up to 646, I would say 647 almost. 13 SMA on this daily time frame, and over that level you're going to see 655 to 664. Until we actually break and hold 664, you're not going to see that much upside here on Nflx. Now if this thing breaks down and gets under 630, guys, that is when you're going to see significant selling. We might come all the way down to 604 on Nflx. On AMD, it's up 1.21%, so AMD came all the way down to 138 again, and the support was holding on Friday, went back up to 141, but not much going, and we do have earnings coming out this week here on AMD. So that's going to be a big event for the stock, and let's see if this thing can hold right here. 138, we might see a bounce early as tomorrow back up to 148, possibly after this gap 153.80. But if this thing cracks under 138, we might go much lower, down to lower Bollinger Band 135 and then even 125. On Amazon stock, it's up 1.47%, so Amazon getting down to 180 once again, and you know that that's a critical level. Amazon was holding on Friday, went back up to 182.43 right here, and now blue line 5-day moving average 182.43. That is what Amazon holding into closing as a support. So that's going to be your line in the sand for tomorrow's session on Monday. And underneath that level, big support 180. But if we actually crack under 180, this thing can come down to 176 and then 173. We do have earnings coming out from Amazon this Thursday, and that could be an event where this stock can go up, or we could see significant selling depending on earnings. Now, Amazon can hold here on Monday's session 182.43, then watch out for continuation up to 185, 187, 50 SMA, and then 190 all the way up to this gap 192.24. On Google, stock is down 0.28%. So Friday, when I saw Google actually down here, I took a small position, and that position is green as of right now. Google trading near 169. So going into Monday session and next week, I think Google is due for a relief rally back up to the upside. If this thing can break and hold 170, we could see a move up to 176, 180, and possibly at some point, maybe not next week, we could see a move up to this gap 183.33. Now, Google cannot break 170, then watch out for continuation to the downside all the way down to 162, and soon as that support gives up, you're going to see Google filling this gap from this earnings right here, 158.28. On Apple, stock is up 0.22%, so Apple actually going absolutely nowhere, and kind of a flat day here on Apple on Friday. And Apple got close to 220, and you can see a rejection came back, and now pretty much trading at 218. So we do have earnings coming out here on Apple Thursday, and that's gonna be where we could see a big move here on Apple stock to the upside, maybe even a brand new all-time high, 240 plus, or this thing can break down and come down and retest weekly breakout near 198 to 200. So going into Monday session, over 220, more upside up to 225, 230, and then this gap, 232.33. Now to the downside, if this thing cannot break 220, then watch out for continuation to the downside, and the next support will be down here at 212, lower Bollinger Band, 50 SMA also at 209.71, and underneath that level you're going to see a lot more selling, and the next big support will be down here at 207, and that's gonna be a critical support. If this thing gets down to 207 and breaks that level, you're going to see a retest of 198 to 200 on Apple. On a Microsoft, it's up 1.64%, so just like we talked about it in my video, I think Thursday night, that we could see a relief rally. Well, we got it. This thing cracked under 420 again on Friday, and look at the bounce, guys. I mean, if you caught it, and that is why, I mean, these things, if you're looking at it, especially you know exactly what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. Obviously, I actually had a great week last week, lots of money made, and that's why I only took like one trade on Friday, and that was it. You know, a small position, and I made money on that one, and I got out. Now, for you guys, a lot of you guys are watching and trying to make money. You can see how well that actually worked out on Thursday and even on Friday. Getting a bounce from not only 420, getting slightly under, getting oversold, trading below lower Bollinger Band, and look at the bounce, guys. 417 to almost 430, and now closing at 425. So here on Microsoft, critical support at 420, and there will be resistance at 432 to 433, previous high, and also this negative sloping 5-day moving average, and over that level you're going to see 439, 443, this gap on top. Below 420, there will be more selling down to 413, and then this gap down here just slightly under 400. And also we do have earnings coming out from Microsoft this week, and I think that is on Tuesday. On Tesla, stock is absolutely flat on Friday, so Tesla came down to 215, went back up to 222, and pretty much doing absolutely nothing for the day. And this gap remains open here at 213, so that's gonna be your line in the sand, maybe even an opportunity to buy the dip here as long as the support can hold right here at 213 to 212. But if that gives up, you're going to see a little bit more sell-off here on Tesla, possibly down to 50-day moving average, and that is sitting at 204. And then we also have a critical support right here at 200, and that's going to be getting under lower Bollinger Band. Another thing I want to point out, and this can actually make money if that actually works out. Looks like lower Bollinger Band rapidly moving up to the upside. It's not coming down, right? So if this thing were to come down here, it's gonna get oversold, and considering that we actually gapped down on earnings right here, we got a massive gap on top near 246. We could see, you know, Tesla filling this gap, you know, possibly going under this gap, look below and fail, and then trapping a lot of bears here, and then this thing take off all the way up to 245.63. So that is one scenario that can play out definitely on Tesla, and we have seen it before over and over, not only on Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Google, pretty much on everything. You know, even with the bad earnings, things sometimes come down, and then you see a reversal immediately. You know, there could be some catalyst coming up, and Tesla can actually make that move back up to this gap, 245.63. So that is gonna be an opportunity to watch here on Tesla if that happens. But if this thing breaks under 200, then don't play it. It will dump even more, possibly down to, you know, 183 or even lower. Looks like, I mean, we might be going up, at least I would say, you know, back up to this gap, as long as you can hold above right here this 50 SMA, which is sitting at 204, and then we have critical support at 200, and that would be considering oversold. And then we can see this bounce, trapping a lot of bears underneath the gap, and then this thing goes up and fills this gap here on top. Now to the upside, Tesla will find resistance at 230.79, negative sloping 5-day moving average, and over that level you're going to see Tesla going up to 240, and then like I said, this gap on top 245.63. But if this thing gets down to 213 to 212 and it does not hold right here, that is going to be a sign that there's a lot of weakness and a lot of money coming out of Tesla, and it might be going elsewhere. So watch out for that, guys. I mean, Tesla could be setting up for a big move, at least a move back up to this gap this week. On Meta, it's up 2.71%, and we do have earnings coming out from Meta this week on Wednesday. And I think the biggest move you'll see, that's going to be on Wednesday here on Meta. Now, going into tomorrow's session, look at the bounce on Friday. This thing came back up to 470 almost, got a rejection. We got a doji indecision candle. So going into Monday's session, if this thing gets over 470, yes, there is more upside up to 13 SMA, which is sitting at 485, and then this gap at 487.72 up to 490. Now, if this thing cannot break 470, then you know that downtrend is continuing here on Meta, and this thing can come back down to 452, and soon as that support gives up, this thing will dump down to 445, and from there, this thing can come down all the way down to 400 to close this gap down here. So Meta here, guys, I mean, this earnings, that's gonna be a big one to watch, and this thing can definitely make a big move. So watch out for Meta on Wednesday. On Nvidia stock, it's up 0.69%. So Nvidia was up significantly. I think it was up like 3% early in the morning. And then you can see a lot of weakness here, in especially the CEO selling lots of shares, guys. And now that can actually drag this stock down even more. But we have no confirmation. We know that Nvidia is on a downtrend, and so far, high, double top, whatever you want to call it, lower high, and now a brand new low last week, all the way down to 107, getting slightly under 107, almost down to 106, getting a huge bounce on Thursday and even on Friday, and now trading at 113, which is holding right here this critical support. So 113 to 112, that's going to be a level to watch. But if this thing cracks under that level, you're going to see 107 again, and 107 gives up, this thing can come down easily down to 98 to 96 bucks to close this gap from before right here. Now to the upside, you know, Nvidia can definitely make a move back up to the upside, catching a lot of people off guard, shorting pretty much at the lows. So watch out. I mean, if you're not short here from one of these lows down here, maybe up here, maybe here on this gap down, and you're shorting now, it's a risky game you're playing with Nvidia. If this thing gets over 118, game over for bears. This thing can move higher immediately back up to 126, and that can happen in a flush. So Nvidia, as long as the stock stays under 118, you can short it. You can do whatever you want to do under 118, shorting the heck out of it. But the moment this thing actually breaks and holds 118, then you got to get rid of it, because this thing can pop again. But if this thing cracks under 107 and does not get that breakout over 118, then there is more selling. Definitely, you're going to see Nvidia coming down, possibly retesting this high right here around 98 bucks, and then closing this gap right here at 96. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I will definitely keep you guys updated going into Monday night.